Greetings and God's peace be with you. My name is Kristofer, and I'm one of the priests at St. Francis Episcopal Parish and Community Center. It's good to have a moment to talk with you on this day, on this beautiful day that the Lord has made. As I record this message to you all as part of our St. Francis Spiritual Sustenance offerings, I'm actually sitting out on a patio out at the Claggett Center outside of Frederick, in a beautiful space that's operated by the Episcopal Diocese of Maryland. It's a place of refuge for me and for many people, and I'm grateful to be out here. I was intending to be focused this week on my time with my brothers in the Order of St. Francis, and our convocation this year was also again going to be virtual, and I was intending to be with them for all this week. But it's interesting the way the Spirit moves and the way that plans get changed. As important as that order is to me, and as important as that spiritual growth and development and that time in community with my brothers is, I felt really moved by the Spirit to do something different in this week. Our diocese is also launching this week something called the College for Congregational Development, and I've been wanting to participate in this for some time. This college is offered in a variety of other dioceses around the country, and actually outside of the country in Canada as well. And I have some colleagues in the different parts of the world that are trainers and directors of that program. So I've been hearing about it for a while, and for those of you who know, I'm also working toward finishing up my doctorate in Congregational Development. So this college experience of formation for both lay leaders and clergy is one that is a really powerful one. It's grassroots in that the training comes out of the context of the diocese that you're in, and while you can travel from other dioceses to be there, it's also really localized. But the training materials are the same from college to college, and I hope that you as members of our parish and community center might get a chance to participate in this in the years to come. It is really, really rich material. As I think about what we're being called to do as the church emerging out of this pandemic and how God is calling us to resurrection and new life, I think so many of the tools that the College for Congregational Development offers would be really powerful instruments in our transformation process. I was reflecting on this past Sunday's gospel lesson, and when I preached from 2 Corinthians, and I didn't touch so much on the gospel, but in the text in Mark, there is this interplay where we're told that Jesus is being interrupted and trying to be wrangled in by his family. He's gotten too far out there, and they're trying to rein him in. The text says that he seems to have lost his mind, and so, but there, in the last line of the passage, Jesus says, "Who are my brothers and my sisters and my mother?" And the teaching that he offers is he says, "Whoever does the will of God is my brother, is my sister, is my mother." And he invites us not to disconnect from the family that we have by blood, but to connect in a powerful way with our family in faith and our family by heart. I am struck by this passage in a lot of ways, as I was intending to be with my brothers in faith through the Order of St. Francis this week. But I surprisingly was called to do this work instead. And I feel like it's all one and the same, but finding my siblings present as part of this transformational work as I gather with lay leaders and clergy from this diocese, but from other parts of the country as well, to be trained in the transformative work that God is calling us to. As Francis was called over 1,000 years ago to do ministry, not quite over 1,000, but over 800 years ago, called to do ministry in that church in San Damiano to repair God's house that has fallen into disrepair. We know that the world is a messy, challenging place, and God is clearly at work in that and calling us to participate. And so how do we use the gifts that we've been given? How do we share the things that we've been given? For me, I seek fellowship and growth opportunities through my work as a Franciscan and a friar in that order. I'm learning new connections and new models and tools through the College for Congregational Development. And as I think about my role, my changing role in our parish and community center, and I think about the work that we are called to as the people of God in this unique place at this unique time, I think about how each of us is called to do God's will. We may have different varieties of gifts, but as we bring them together in offering to God, in sharing in community, and God takes them and uses us to bring about peace and justice in the world. As we are continued to be shaped by the healing and loving hands of God, how do we know in our lives when we're doing the will of God? I'm so grateful for the clarity of our vestry as we've discerned in the last couple months that we are called to follow in the Hebrew prophet Micah's words as we're reminded, what does the Lord require of us? To do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. So as we seek to live into this mission, to become this mission, this good news, how do we know that we're doing what we're supposed to? I keep coming back to these questions in my own life as I'm shaped, as patterns are formed new in me. When I wonder if I should do this or if I should do that, to ask myself, is it just? Is it loving and merciful? Does it embody humility? Perhaps these questions are helpful to you as we seek to become this missional place, this missional people that God calls us to. Who is our brother? Who is our sister? Who is our mother? Whoever does the will of God. So, fellow children of God, as we seek to follow the Spirit as she calls us forth into the world, I give thanks to you. I give thanks for the communion that we share and for the ways that we are called to be the body of Christ in the world. Christ's peace be with you, and I look forward to our next conversation.